Hi, I'm Gene. In this video, I want to show you how I paint a old style or old time, aged out looking logo onto a brick wall, or in this case, a faux brick wall. So let's get started. So I picked up these two sheets of brick paneling from Lowe's, and I actually got a super deal on it because the corners were damaged and I got them for $15 a sheet. Can't beat that. So now I want to put basically my DIY Gene logo on this. The best way to do that is to project it up, and I'm going to be using this tracer projector. I've had this projector for over 10 years and it's done a great job for me, and they still sell these, and I'll put a link down in the description below if you're interested in one. So because this logo is higher than my table, I'm going to just set a stool up here and set something flat on top of that I can set my print and my projector on. Paper up here. Then I'm just going to set my projector up here on top of it. I want to make sure that the eye is centered on this seam line, and this point is also centered on this seam line. So I got to do just a little adjusting on that. I think I'm fine right like that. Something I want to bring up before I start lettering this sign is you're going to notice my hand shakes a lot. I have what's called essential tremors. It's kind of a pain, but I try to work through it. There are some medications for it, but it seems like the side effects are worse than the tremors. And there's some surgeries for it, but I don't want to be like Cousin Eddie in Christmas Vacation, that every time my wife fires up the microwave, I wet myself and I don't know where I am for an hour. So I'm going to start by using some of a kind of a tan color, and I'm going to just use latex paint on this. I'm going to try to not even thin it down, because what I want to do is almost dry brush it more and see if I can pull that off. And this is just to apply some of the background color. I'm going to use a Fitch. It's got a little bit of a taper up this way. It's fairly stiff. Actually, it's very stiff, but I think that's going to work to my advantage on this. Kind of brush some of that out. And I'm going to start right here. Up here. Bring this kind of down. Like that. See, so what I'm getting is some inconsistencies, but that's kind of what I'm looking for with this, because it's going to help to give it kind of an aged out look. And I don't have to get the coats perfect on these sections, because these are going to be dark and painted kind of over the top of it. So this is just to kind of almost show age to it. That is actually going to work. All right, now I'm going to put a little red on here. And this is one where I do need to get some of the paint down into the mortar, because if I would have been originally painting this as a new sign, that would have, you would have to have that done to be a decent job. That's going to work. I picked up some green background. This is probably dry enough right now that I can carefully kind of put some of that on with the green. And I'm not sure yet. I may come back and add a little more color into that, but that's going to give me the basic look that I'm kind of shooting for there. What do you think? I know it looks kind of light, but this is really, believe it or not, what I'm going for. Now my D, and I can come back and I can definitely throw some more color on top of it if I feel I need it. And it's actually much easier to put more color on than to put less color on. That has a divot. I'm leaving that there. I like that. Okay, I've let this dry overnight, and so now I'm going to start working on some of the black outlining and the paintbrush and pen on the front of this. But instead of going with 100% black, I'm going to cut that down into more of a gray, adding some white into this, because I want that to look aged and a little weaker in that. And if I went with just a real strong black, it would be almost too much and look too fresh. So that's how I'm going to lay that out. It's not going to take a lot of paint, so I'm just going to apply this in here fairly sparingly. Now, interesting enough, now I know that looks pretty gray, but up on that, it's going to look black still. I'm going to start with a smaller angled brush here to start on that. Okay, so I've got my paint and a little palette tray here. And I want to kind of brush this out dry a little bit. First thing I did was stick my finger in there. And I'm just going to kind of dry brush this part in a little bit so it's painted, but it's not as heavy. Okay. Interesting, do you see how dark that already looks even with this gray? I may have to come back and add a little lighter gray into this just to age it out. I'm not sure yet. But okay, that gets my concept across. So now I can start kind of filling this in and see where we're going. Well, I'm going to let this set up overnight, and then I'm going to come back and do a little more aging of it so it's more evident and doesn't look like it's just crappily painted. Maybe a little bit of sanding, maybe a little more antiquing into some of these areas, and I really think it's going to turn out pretty good. I'm pretty excited how this is looking. Okay, now it's dried, so I'm going to take some like 60 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to start working some areas of this to age it out and see if that's going to help to give it that old look. So let me see how that goes. I'm going to maybe start with, say, a corner like that. And just kind of take a little bit of this color off. See, now I kind of like that. That's kind of giving it an aged out look. Oh yeah, that's looking good. I like how that's giving some wear to this. Okay, I want to take a lot of this one off, including some of the, because I just want this to have a real look of wear to it. And then that's going to come in all the way. I think all in all, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's kind of giving a cool vibe to that. Hey, I think this thing turned out great. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, put them in the comment section down below. I'll put links to the materials I used on this, and check out some of these other videos. And in the meantime, well, I'll see you soon.